Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. The fact that Bitcoin is struggling to break out is beneficial for the overall cycle, guys. This coming from Rect Capital here. Bitcoin has never broken out this early in the post-halving period, so we have to remember that. If it did, the cycle would accelerate to such a point that the bull market would simply be shorter than usual. This continued consolidation is enabling price to resynchronize with the historical halving cycle so that we get a normal bull run as per usual. And you know what's better than being blindsided and not knowing what's going on? Is predictability, especially when you want to make money. So as you guys probably already know, Bitcoin did already see that all-time high. It did match its all-time high fairly recently. Usually that happens later on in the cycle. So, you know, what he is suggesting here, what Rect Capital is suggesting is that now that Bitcoin has retraced and matched its all-time high, we are seeing this reaccumulation phase last for longer than we generally would have had Bitcoin taken a lot longer to get back up to that all-time high. Remember, guys, back a couple of cycles ago, we did see Bitcoin price reach its top. I'm going to give you the example of 2021. So that was when Bitcoin did reach its top very late in the cycle compared to where we are today. And since it did breach its all-time high, it only took about 17 days to get up past that point. And even in the cycle before that, here, let me just zoom back out here. And I've showed you guys this on the channel in the past. Even in the cycle before that, even if we consider, let's not consider this because it didn't actually go above that level. Let's take it from here. Did go above, did come back below, did go above. And then even after this up and down, it did take about 54 days for Bitcoin to get past that all-time high and to do it with conviction. Guys, we're not seeing that today. And I have a feeling that Rect Capital is onto something here right now. If you guys can see here, let me put a horizontal line on the Bitcoin chart so you guys can see when Bitcoin did actually breach its former all-time high. Let's even call it this red candlestick here. We did see a wick above there. Let's even take it from there. Right now, we are already 96 days into the cycle, so almost double what we saw back in 2017, 2018. But that's okay because it does resynchronize us with the halving cycle, so we get a normal bull run as usual. So guys, I know it's a bit of a wait and see kind of phase right now. The other thing we have to remember too, since the halving, Bitcoin mining costs have soared. So we have seen the mining costs go up. Essentially, the reward is cut in half. So miners have to work twice as hard. On average, it now costs about $77,000 to mine a single Bitcoin today. So, you know, the fact that that is the case and we're not seeing, we're seeing a Bitcoin price right now as of the time of this recording, only at around 66,800. That is an $11,000 deficit from where, miners would be, and that's just breaking even. $11,000 roughly, $11,000 deficit for a miner to make any profit. So this spike in expenses has led to a wave of capitulation among BTC miners in the past month. So we haven't seen as much in terms of mining. Mining costs obviously went up here, as you guys can see that in the blue, and that would have been at the end of April. Bitcoin price slowly kind of made its way up too, and the average mining cost has also gone up. So, it has also had an effect on the market. But guys, this all does change once that Bitcoin price does move higher. We're just seeing that accumulation range right now continue on and recalibrate. You guys can see neutral sentiment in the space that's slowly moving down further into the fear section. So, it's getting a lot of people not just selling Bitcoin, but also selling their altcoins. You guys can see the majority of the market is red today, albeit not by much. We're seeing single-digit percentage points in the red. It's okay. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, market cap is at 2.44. That is down by a little bit. 24-hour trading volume, that's also down by 24.1%. Bitcoin dominance still holding on at 54. Again, I come on here every single day hoping to see something new. But by and large, even though we do feel the ups and we do feel the downs, this chart on the daily is looking fairly boring. By and large, until we get another move to the upside. This kind of fluctuation pattern is not a lot really one way or the other. Remember, guys, even from the bottom to the top, that's only about 30%, and Bitcoin can do much bigger numbers than that. So we still just have to wait and see at this point in time. XRP, guys, right now, as of the time of this recording, we are seeing an XRP trading for about 47.7. Unfortunately, XRP has moved down a little bit there. trying to hold up, amongst the other altcoins also trying to stay above this trend line. But it's getting increasingly difficult for that to occur for XRP. So I do certainly hope that something does happen, a catalyst, if you will, that will bring not just XRP, but the entire altcoin market up. But it is going to start with Bitcoin, guys. I mean, we might get some help from the SEC. SEC Chair Gary Gensler expects Ethereum ETFs to be approved during the summer. This one courtesy of Michael Branch here. Crypto investors now have an idea of when the highly anticipated spot Ethereum exchange traded funds will start trading after their approval in May. In a June 13th U.S. Senate Committee on Appropriations hearing, the Security and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler revealed that these final products could get their final approvals sometime over the course of this summer. Gensler made this revelation in response to a question from Tennessee Republican Senator Bill Hagerty about the ETF approval process. According to Gensler, the approval process was working smoothly and the product issuers were undergoing administrative procedures from the regulator's staff. So it looks as though we just have to follow the process, so to speak. On May the 23rd, the SEC unexpectedly approved the 19B-4 document for 8 spot Ether ETFs, fueling questions about when these products would begin trading. While some stakeholders predicted that the products could begin trading as early as July, others pointed that the approval could be before November. And Gary Gensler has now come out and said, well, probably the summer. Here's a clip of Gary Gensler talking about the ETFs, courtesy of Marty Party on Twitter.
Individual issuers still are working through the registration process that's working smoothly, and I would envision sometime over the course of this summer, those are just
that's great
documents.
news. If you're committing to me that those applications will be approved by the end of the summer, I appreciate that. We've got to get this market.
The Modern Investor commenting down here, end of August sounds about right. I'm surprised, considering what we saw for the Bitcoin ETFs, that there wasn't more Ethereum spot purchasing. I guess there was a little bit. Ultimately, though, this is going to get the price of Ethereum rising, similar to what we saw with Bitcoin post ETF. So Ethereum, the next on the list, and some in the XRP community were wondering about an XRP ETF. Brad Garlinghouse sounded very positive about that, but they're saying Solana will probably be the next one. Perhaps an XRP ETF will follow that, and I don't know what else. Maybe a Cardano ETF, Chainlink. Not entirely sure. Probably going to skip the meme coins, though. I have a feeling that the SEC wants nothing to do with meme coin ETFs. Anyway, want to keep moving along, guys, because we just got this news, too. Eleanor Turret posting this. POTUS, the President of the United States, has just announced his intention to renominate Democrat SEC Commissioner Carolyn Crenshaw to a second term at the agency. So Joe Biden did announce his intent to nominate Carolyn Crenshaw for another term at the SEC specifically. And here are just a few other announcements. Nominee for the chair and member of the Federal Deposit Insurance, Christy Goldsmith Romero, Kristen Johnson for the Financial Institutions Department of the Treasury, and Gordon Ido, member of the Financial Stability Oversight Council. So unfortunately, Carolyn is anti-crypto, as acknowledged here by Julian Williams. Another nail in Biden's fake pro-crypto coffin for listening to Gary Gensler and his handler, Elizabeth Warren. Say goodbye to 50 million crypto investor votes. When it comes to these policies and technology that could be leading the U.S. into a new frontier of finance, it's unfortunate. Cryptocurrency, a bipartisan issue. It should not be a partisan issue, although it sounds as though the Democrats are making it that way. Donald Trump obviously has come out and said he is accepting crypto donations. And so, at the end of the day, it's all about strategy, especially when these issues could benefit the entirety of the United States when it comes to economy and, just overall progress. When it comes to keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak. Meta Lawman here also commenting on this. The SEC Commissioner Carolyn Crenshaw is a soldier in good standing in the anti-crypto army. So much for the pivot on crypto. Watch what they do, not what they say. Anders here commenting, seems Biden is determined to lose the election this coming November. Oh well. Crypto Fuchsia's here saying, meanwhile, they're talking about accepting crypto for campaign donations. So that was the other thing too, right? As soon as Trump did say he was going to accept cryptocurrency donations, Joe Biden's camp decided to do the same, basically pull a 180 here. Joe Biden may accept crypto campaign donations through Coinbase following Donald Trump. So that is now the buzz on the street here. The Biden campaign is considering accepting cryptocurrency donations through Coinbase, the same payment service that allows contributions to Trump's campaign. With this move, the Biden team aims to attract young crypto-focused voters. Citing a source, the report said that the Biden campaign aims to show support for the crypto industry. So, on the one hand, they are trying to crush cryptocurrency, as noted here by Senator Warren's anti-crypto army, including Carolyn Crenshaw. Yet, on the other hand, they're trying to make it about, look, I'm hip and with it, like the Republican nominee. Don't know if it's going to work, though. I think too little, too late. James K. Filan also commenting on this, a lot of legal news today with regards to the crypto industry. Ripple files a notice of supplemental authority regarding the Terraform Labs consent judgment. So this is the most recent thing that just occurred. In terms of Ripple defending themselves in this case, Hunty Crypto here posting this. This notice aims to persuade Judge Torres that the SEC's penalty request in the Ripple case is excessive, especially when compared to the penalties in the Terraform case. So you got to remember, Terraform, they were frauds, okay? It was a very, very different case than the Ripple SEC case. Hunty Crypto does continue by saying, so that involved more severe allegations and a larger investor loss. He continues by saying Ripple is advocating for a more reasonable penalty based on precedent and proportionality. Stephanie Starr commenting, boom, Neon Pony, precisely. Rotback saying, thank you, man. And yet none of that penalty will actually go to the investors who lost their money, says Cookie Swirl C here on Twitter. Unfortunately not. Now, Bill Morgan also commenting on this. The supplemental authority draws attention to the strange animus that the SEC continues to show towards Ripple. Ripple alleges in its remedy oppositions brief that the range of penalties that the SEC accepted in other crypto-related cases was between 0.6% and 1.8% of the defendant's gross sales. In the Terraform case, in which a jury verdict found one of the largest securities frauds in U.S. history, involving two long-running fraudulent schemes, in which wiped out $40 billion of investor funds, the SEC accepted a consent judgment for a penalty equal to 1.27% of Terra's gross sales against Ripple. In a case in which there was no allegations of fraud and institutional buyers suffered no losses, the SEC seeks a penalty of $876 million, which Ripple alleged was 20 times more than any other penalty in crypto-related cases at the time. The behavior of the SEC towards Ripple is very ill-motivated. So there are obviously conspiracies going around as to why this is. Tamping down Ripple, tamping down XRP, they are the biggest threat to the system at the moment. I mean, if Gary Gensler is in the pocket of his big banker buddies, that makes sense. I mean, just as one thread to connect this thing. Mark Fagel here sharing his point of view too. Of course, those are settled cases. That's the benefit to a defendant of settling. Plus, in Terraform, it's not real money. The money is gone, so the penalty is kind of a fiction in any event, which isn't to say the SEC will get anything close to what it demands here. Bill Morgan responding to that, I accept that there should be leniency for accepting liability and settling, but Terraform only settled after a jury trial, and it was a mega-level fraud event, even by crypto standards. That's all fair, responds Mark. So, it is a very different kind of case. And, the fact that Ripple is getting punished even greater than serious fraud cases. I mean, even just look at the FTX story and the minuscule repercussions against Sam Bankman-Fried compared to what is happening in the Ripple case in terms of the monetary aspect of it. Sam did go to jail for fraud, but, it does get me wondering, who is making these rules? How is it that the legal system comes up with these verdicts? The drawback here saying, I'm not a lawyer, Bill, or even a crypto OG, but logic would tell me that the hostility from the SEC towards Ripple would actually be a bonus for them in terms of XRP being accepted for use by the BRICS countries. Wouldn't that be true? Bill's saying, well, if you work on the assumption that blockchain technology is disruptive, then both Bitcoin and XRP have faced mountains of criticism from people who do not like crypto. That is definitely true. I mean, there have been murmurings that the BRICS nations are in fact, or will in fact, use a bridge currency, the world's global bridge currency. But guys, they're also doing this, courtesy of Ito Farina. He was reading their white paper and that they are creating a currency called UNIT, which is going to be backed 40% by gold and 60% by BRICS member country fiat currencies. It cannot be weaponized and it is inflation proof, I guess, because of the gold component here. All items in the unit reserve basket must be freely tradable in gold terms for spot delivery at one of the unit nodes. If the condition of the free price discovery in gold terms is not satisfied, the currency cannot be deemed suitable for the unit reserve basket. The gold content of the unit reserve basket as a share of the total value in gold terms, which is required for emission of a new unit token, equals 40%. The value of any non-gold component of the unit reserve basket delivered for minting of a new unit token must not exceed 30% of the total measured in gold terms. The exact composition of the unit reserve basket at any time is public knowledge and is broadcast by all unit nodes. So that is, a new way to look at currency, very transparent. As the BRICS members, I'm sure, realize that it's going to be beneficial for all of them to have a transparent option to trade in. And so now I guess we're going back to this concept of a global reserve currency, at least for the BRICS nations. And David Schwartz was even saying, we might not actually just have one global reserve currency. We might have two or three, the US dollar still being the global reserve technically, but also now we have a unit token. And I guess we'll see how this all plays out. Maybe more countries will want to trade in the unit token just based on the transparency here and the fact that you just can't print more of them out of the blue. So an interesting update here from Ito Farina. Wanted to thank him for posting that. And Megan here on Twitter also commenting on the BRICS launch of their own settlement currency to replace the dollar. But guys, notice what was noted here in this Russian document. So this is a document here from the BRICS, from one of their presentations. Obviously, this document is in Russian. Luckily for us, Megan is part of the XRP community and can translate that for us. So the translation is up here. The BRICS Advisory Council says the project presentation, so far, it is only a concept, but a range of potential technology partners in Russia and other countries have already been identified. An active dialogue is underway with regulators in various countries. UNIT has a fractal structure with access points united by a blockchain platform. The platform software is being developed so that any authorized node can issue UNIT or UNT payment units. They will be able to be used as a means of settlement, for example, when negotiating the price of a product, to be used in keeping a record of counter obligations, as well as to service the transactions themselves. It is assumed that one unit will be measured in gold equivalent pegged to 1 gram of gold, but its basket will consist of several components. So 0.4 grams of physical gold, the rest half in each of the other two currencies of the BRICS countries. UNIT is not a cryptocurrency because, unlike it, its value is tied to real assets. So that is an interesting observation. But guys, the icing on the cake, Megan here points out that Ripple was mentioned in this document too. Here they say Ripple, if you guys can see as part of the system, that likely will transact in unit tokens. They also mention Enbridge and Polaris along with Tether. So it's not just going to be one cryptocurrency that rules them all, but this is looking to be launched. It looks as though sometime in 2025 and 2026, approved by the board of directors of the Bank of Russia. So it still needs some time to go through. Slick here saying BRICS ain't playing around. They're coming for the dollar's crown with their shiny new gold-backed currency. We always assumed that it would be backed by gold, and there were always inclinations that the BRICS nations were going to use RippleNet and XRP specifically to transact because as new members join, it's just going to get more difficult to do this without DLT technology. So I'm happy to see that Ripple has been listed in this Russian document. More signs pointing to the fact that XRP will be incorporated in the BRICS nations' facilitation of cross-border transactions. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.